So again, how to maximize your pumping output when you are pumping. So we have a lot of moms in our mom group. We have a Facebook group for exclusively pumping moms, as well as pumping moms that use our Spectra breast pumps and accessories. And a lot of our moms come up with some fantastic questions. And a lot of those questions help to enable us, such as myself, who's the senior IBCLC with Spectra Baby USA. It helps us know how we can better support our moms, how we can better support you. And during those questions, not only being able to know how to best support you, but again, we welcome your questions and comments on our Instagram post, on our question and answers. So keep those coming. Yay, pumping right now. We love it. Awesome. So one of the major things that is asked of us is, how can I ensure that I am pumping the most milk? How can I know, what settings to use, when to go from massage to expression? And again, every mom and baby is so different. So we're always hesitant to say a specific pump setting that will enable you to have the best pumping output. But let's start at the beginning. Before you start pumping, you want to create a comfortable environment. So a lot of studies have been done on what it enables mom to pump the most. And one thing that has come to light is having a comfortable environment can really ensure that you're pumping a good amount of milk. Now, what is a comfortable environment? Well, every mom is different, but you want to make sure that you have a comfortable chair, that you're not hunched over when you're pumping, and that your back is not hurting. Again, our breasts are not garden hoses where we're going to the pump or to baby, but we're bringing the pump and the baby to us. So you want to make sure that you have a comfortable chair, that you can make sure that the lights are not super bright, that it's a nice, turn those lights down a little bit lower, because that can help baby being comfortable and get to sleep as well. So also playing some music, whether it's classical or whether it's whatever genre makes you happy and you comfortable, can also help with your pumping yields. Using your hands. Okay, so, massaging your breast before pumping or during pumping. And I have a little sample breast here. I didn't take it from my Yoda. You can see my Yoda over here. So using your hands around your breast to really massage all the way around before you start to pump. So here's your breast, right? You really want to use your fingers all the way around like it is a clock. And you really want to make sure to massage. And you can do that before and while you're pumping. So even with the flange, when your flange is on, you can still massage around. Even with a hands-free bra, you can still massage around. So you really want to make sure that you're using your hands when you're pumping. Another thing too is what's called a breast compression. So what you would do is you actually kind of almost like you're making a C, and you make a sandwich, okay? And you use your hands, your thumb, to actually compress your breast. And that can actually help with not only increasing your hormones that are needed to create your milk, but also help with creating more letdowns, which ejects your milk. So you really want to make sure that you're using your hands when you're pumping. So massaging before, during, and after pumping or doing breast compressions are extremely helpful. Another thing is double pumping. So a lot of moms will say, do I single pump or do I double pump? And double pumping does allow for your hormones that make your awesome milk. It allows for your hormones to peak at a higher level. So when your hormones are peaking, that actually helps to enable milk to be produced and milk to be let down. So we'll make sure to post on Instagram and also on our Facebook group the infographic that we have on how to maximize your pumping yield. Sorry, I look a little like an alien there with all the with the lighting. So again, we talked about making a comfortable environment with whether it's especially playing music has been shown to increase your pumping yield. We talked about using our hands to massage during pumping. We also talked about using double pumping so that it can really help your hormones to increase. So again, making a comfortable environment, playing some music or turning lights down, making yourself comfortable, having a drink nearby, water. We're not talking about alcohol per se. Using double pumping to help increase your hormones while you're pumping can create more milk and help to elicit more letdowns of your milk. Using your hands. Now, let's talk about pumping time. A lot of moms ask, my Spectra pump is auto shuts off at 30 minutes. Does that mean I need to be pumping for 30 minutes to create the most milk? No, 30 minutes is not necessarily needed. But we do recommend that you pump about 5 to 7 minutes past the last drop of milk. So why would we recommend that? Again, whatever you remove is what you make. So if you're removing and you're stimulating your breast more frequently and more consistently when you're pumping, then you're more likely to let down more and you're more likely to produce more. So it's really important that you're pumping about 5 to 7 minutes past the last drop of milk. So usually 15 to 20 minutes of pumping time is sufficient, and that will be good in removing the most milk from your breast. And again, using your hands while you're pumping. So again, we have our trusty little demo pump here, our demo breast. So again, when you're pumping, really using your hands, your fingers, just like you would do a self-breast exam almost, to really help elicit more of that milk to be expressed. And also to really, the more human touch you have, the higher your hormones are. So again, it's all hormonal. It all goes back to that human touch that is really shown to increase your hormones and help elicit better letdowns, to help with the milk being removed, and ultimately help your milk supply. Yes, we agree. Hands-on pumping is very efficient. Thank you. So there are so many different ways, but one way that you can do that is looking up to research what's called hands-on pumping. And there's some great resources out there. And stay tuned. We'll be having a blog that will have some great information on that also. But hands-on pumping is great. So again, 30 minutes of pumping time is not necessarily needed. But pumping about 5 to 7 minutes after the last drop of milk is the best rule of thumb to ensure that you're getting the best stimulation possible. Let's go back to talking about ensuring that you have so we talked about having a comfortable environment, maybe playing some music can help with milk removal, ensuring that you're double pumping to really help enable those hormones to get nice and high. We talked about using your hands when pumping. We talked about 5 to 7 minutes after the last drop of milk to pump. And ensuring, and the last thing that we'll talk about is ensuring that you're removing milk the same times or the same frequency that your baby would be removing milk from breast. So it's really important that you think a baby should be nursing about 8 to 12 times a day. So that should really be your rule of thumb, that you really need to be pumping when baby would be eating. So that's about 8 to 12 times a day. So 8 to 12 times a day would be about every 3 to 4 hours or so. Every 2 to 3 hours. So if we're looking at that, we really need to be thinking that if a baby is nursing that frequently or feeding that frequently, we need to be pumping when baby would be nursing. So the same thing, if you are pumping and nursing and you're at work, and it needs to be that 3 to 4 hour time frame, you really need to be expression during that time. So if baby's getting a bottle of mommy milk or other away from mom, you need to be expressing during that time, because whatever's removed is what you'll be making. And that's really important to keep in mind. So if you missed a feeding because of work or girls' night out or date night or whatever the case is, grandma's giving a bottle or dad's giving a bottle, you need to be making sure that you're removing the milk during that time, because whatever is removed is what will be made, what is produced. So if you're missing a feeding, it's important that you're removing the milk efficiently. So let's see, are there any questions that our moms have? Let's ask those questions that you may have that's applicable to our topic. So again, our topic is efficiently removing milk while pumping, so maximizing your pumping output. And we talked about various ways, about 5 different aspects to ensure that we're properly removing milk and maximizing the pumping yield. So what questions do you guys have surrounding that topic? What can we answer for you? Maybe some burning questions that you have, or maybe something that grandma, mom, friend has recommended. One thing that's brought up is not only flange sizing, but whether we have an option for sizing that's between flanges. So one thing that we talked about and that we can cover is we have a silicone massage insert. And this does help enable some extra stimulation on the breast and the milk ducts, because we have a nice little, almost like a flower petal here. And that fits into the 24 and the 28 flange. So it just fits all the way around this flange here. And it does enable more of a hands-on pumping, and it stimulates more of those milk ducts in the breast to help elicit more letdowns and also enable better milk removal. So that's called our silicone insert. And that's an option for moms, especially when you're engorged. That can be very helpful. That can be very helpful in removing more milk and stimulating those milk ducts. So in a 24 flange, which is what we have here, our 24 flange, that would be a 22.5 flange size, and the 28 would be a 26.5 flange size. So this is another option to help stimulate those milk ducts and help elicit more letdowns, as well as almost like that hands-on pumping that we talked about. So yay, we have a mom chiming in saying, I love those. So that's great. And I always recommend those to our mommies that are in between those flange sizes, because it can be extremely helpful. And me personally, I still do nurse and pump for our soon-to-be 2-year-old. And I personally love it. It's very helpful, especially when you may have waited a little too long to be pumping. And yay, I love that moms are chiming in. So yes, it can be very helpful, especially if you've waited a little too long to express your milk and you need some stimulation and help with softening your breast and removing the milk. It can be extremely helpful in that scenario as well. So what questions can we answer for you, mommies? Any questions or concerns that you have surrounding maximizing your pumping output, ensuring that you're pumping the most milk when you're pumping. It's important that, yes, you can buy these separately. So the question was, can you buy these silicone massage inserts separately? And yes. So it's called the silicone massage insert, and it fits on the 24 and the 28 flanges. And it just fits right into the flange. On the 24 or the 28, it creates a 1.5 millimeter size difference, and it just gently goes all the way around here. And it is sold separately, so you can find those on our website at spectrababyyusa.com. And that if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us also. And our lactation consultants will be able to assist you with any specific questions you have in reference to using these silicone inserts, as well as making sure that you're maximizing your pumping output. One thing that we'll also recommend is that we have a fantastic Facebook mom group of about 5,000 pumping moms that are extremely helpful in supporting each other. So that is on Facebook, and it's the Spectra Pumping Mom Group. So how often should I be changing the flanges and white suction piece? Does that make a difference? Absolutely, it makes a difference, and thank you for bringing that up. So your suction strength and whether the efficiency of pumping, it can be absolutely affected by not replacing your parts frequently. So the duckbill valves here is a one-piece portion. So we'll look at this right here. This is a duckbill valve, and this should be replaced every 2 months if you're exclusively pumping, or every 3 months if you're part-time pumping. So again, this duckbill valve can certainly impact whether you're able to efficiently pump. And this needs to be replaced every 2 months for exclusive pumping and every 3 months for part-time pumping. Now let's talk about the backflow protector, because that's another part that needs to be replaced. Now this is a 3-piece portion, and the silicone membrane goes right along the smaller portion, and the smaller portion fits into the larger portion. So that's the 3-piece backflow protector, and that just gently twists on the back of a flange. So this backflow protector does need to be replaced about every 3 to 4 months. Now, if you notice, and I always keep this around just as a good example, if you notice that it very easily falls off, or it very easily comes apart, then you need to make sure that you're replacing it. If it's been warped, boiled, put in the dishwasher, etc., that can change the efficiency also of the backflow protector. So one question that a mom has is, how do I know what size flange I am? Well, that's a good question. So we have a great tool, flange sizing tool on our website. So if you go to spectrababyusa.com and you go to the support assistance portion, and we'll make sure to put that link on here also. That actually can help you determine what flange size you would be. So let's look at this. Here's an example. This is my little demo breast here. This is a 24 size flange. Put it on for our Facebook mommies to see, as well as our Instagram mommies. So this actually is our 24 flange. Now this actually would be a little bit big. Now let me tell you why. Do you see how much space is there between the flange tunnel and the nipple? So that would be a little bit too big. So you don't want the nipple or the areola to rub on the sides of the flange, or the sides of the flange tunnel, but you also don't want too much space because that also can cause some nipple and areola swelling, as well as some damage as well. So you want to make sure that you have a proper flange fitting. You can always send a picture or video of you pumping to us, and we can assist you with the size of the flange as well. But again, if you go to our Spectra Baby USA page, we have a flange size tool there also. Is it better to pump for longer or increased vacuum speed? So the vacuum strength is how strong it's pumping, how strong that the suction is. And there's 2 different factors here that you're referring to. So when you turn the pump on, the actual cycles per minute is how fast that the baby is sucking. How many cycles per minute, how fast the baby is sucking at breast. And that goes from 38 to 54 with the S2 and the S1 model. Now the vacuum, let me turn the night light here so that you can see it a little bit better. Now the vacuum can go from 1 to 12, okay? So 12 all the way down to 1. And now that's how strong that it's sucking. So the vacuum, how strong that it's sucking, should never be ow. It should never be ow. If it's ow, you need to turn it down, okay? Now the cycles per minute is how fast the baby's going at breast. And both of these, the cycles per minute and the vacuum, is very contingent on the mom and baby. We never have a set recommendation for a cycle per minute or a vacuum, because it's all based on mom. So you need to play around with what's going to be most comfortable for you. What do you notice as the better output or the better pumping yield for you? So again, the vacuum strength is going to be how strong that it's going, and the cycles per minute is how fast that it's going. And you want to go with what is most comfortable. So again, massage mode is going to be when you turn the pump on, it's an expression. Let me put this down here. When you turn the pump on, it's going to be an expression. And you want to press that again so that you see that little wave button. Let me put the little night light here so that you can see it. And that is what elicits the letdown. Once the milk starts spraying, you press that wave button again, and that's an expression mode. And that is where it's actually helping to remove more of the milk from the breast instead of just eliciting the letdown. So you want to play around with that. And again, our Facebook mom group can be a great resource for you to connect with other moms and find out what they would recommend. We had another question here. It says, is it possible to need a smaller flange as the day progresses? I feel like that the flange fits at the first pump and then is too big by the end of the day. So that's a great question. And that's one of the another good point of the Spectra breast pump is coming with the 24 and the 28 size flanges. So yes, you can need a different size flange from the left to the right or the right to the left. It also can change during the course of your pumping and nursing experience. You may need a different flange size based off of the earlier portion of your pumping and nursing experience versus the end. And then in addition to that, throughout the day, you may need different flange sizes. Absolutely. So especially if in that morning session you're more full, there is a longer period of time based on pumping, which can cause some swelling and engorgement. So you may need a different flange size based on different pumping sessions during the day, as well as based off of your pumping experience. So absolutely, you can need a different flange size. So is there anybody, let's see, it says, do I get better input when I change from letdown mode to expression mode? I usually just crank it the whole time. So again, that's kind of what we were referring to earlier, that there is not one set way that we recommend based off of cycles per minute or vacuum strength for each mom or baby, that it's very contingent and dependent on the mother and baby. So it's really important that you play around with those settings and find what's going to be best for you. So again, some moms find it best that they are in massage mode the whole pumping session, and other moms find it best to do the cyclical pumping, moving between expression and massage, expression and massage. So it's really based on the mom and baby. Is there any medical studies on your pump? Not yet. But we are in the process of having that conducted, and we are very excited about that. So just stay tuned for that. Is there a wrong time to start pumping, such as starting too soon after baby is born? So that's a great question. We usually recommend that you start pumping about 2 weeks before you return to work. And you don't want to pump too soon after baby is born, because you really need to be focusing on not only establishing your milk supply, but enjoying that precious new baby. So usually we say about 4 to 6 weeks after baby is born, that provides a good time to establish your milk supply and get things going, and then maybe worry about introducing pumping if it's something that you need to do. If not, don't worry about it right away. Usually about 2 weeks before you return to work or school is when you really need to be focusing on starting pumping, and try to hold off for a good 4 to 6 weeks after baby is born so that you can really focus on yourself healing as well as baby. And also you have so much going on with a new baby. There's so much going on, and time will just fly by, and before you know it, it's the 6 weeks or what have you. So, you know, don't worry about that. You have enough on your plate. So what else can we answer for you moms? Is there anything else that's coming to mind that we can answer for you? Again, another great resource would be, we always are available by Facebook. We're available by different social media channels, email, phone, so we're here to help you. Yes, so, and again, so starting too early can create a very high supply, which can create another issue entirely. Some moms say, you know, I always was a just enougher. I love hearing that, the just enougher, maybe the lower milk supply. And then some moms struggle with an oversupply, which can also be an issue too, because you're constantly having to be removing milk because you're producing at such a high capacity. So again, we are always here to support our mommies. and our families. So if there's anything that we can do to help answer for you, we are here for you. Please reach out to us. Again, another great resource would be our Facebook mom group, because we have about 5,000 moms in there that help support each other and answer questions. So thank you for joining us today. We appreciate your questions and your participation, and we appreciate you being a Spectra mom. So another question is, are there any food recommendations to continue milk supply? So the biggest thing would be hands-on pumping, frequency of milk removal, and making sure that you are that you're keeping up with supply and demand. So whatever is removed is what your body will produce, and anything outside of that would be something that would be on a mom-to-mom basis. So always reach out to a IBCLC, such as myself or others that we have here on staff, or somebody in your area, and that you can go through different medical indications or other recommendations that might be desired. But usually moms just really need to be focusing on frequent milk removal, hands-on pumping, and making sure that they're pumping efficiently. And that is the biggest things that you really need to be focusing on, outside of what to take, what to drink, what to eat. Missed the beginning. What's hands-on pumping? So hands-on pumping is really using your hands when you're pumping to massage your breast. So here is our little demo breast here, and you really want to, let's move this down a little bit, so our Facebook mommies, but really using your hands when you're pumping to really help enable your hormones to go higher and really help to elicit stimulation of more of the milk ducts around. So almost like it's a clock, and your hand is that little hand that's going around the clock. You really want to go all the way around. So more of that massage all before, during, and after pumping is really helpful. That's hands-on pumping. And also you can make a C with your hands, and almost like a breast compression, and just really kind of roll your thumb towards that nipple areola to really massage all the way around. So that's that hands-on pumping. So again, thanks for joining us, mommies. And if you have any other questions or concerns, please let us know what we can do to best support you. Thank you for joining us today.